You have $5 billion to spend in the dumbest way possible. How do you spend it? Buy $5 billion worth of Coke and Mentos, pour it into a giant pit and watch what happens. 5 billion lotto tickets, all for the same draw, all with the same numbers. You happen to hit, not the jackpot, but 2 numbers. That's a guaranteed $4 on each ticket. You've bankrupted the Powerball, and now have $20 billion. I'm probably stupid, but is this actually how it would work? I take my $5 billion bills and buy 10 billion quarters. Now I have twice as much. This guy maths just not well, unless he buys 10 billion quarters made prior to 1965. Buy a parking space in New York City. I guess $5 billion would be enough for a down payment, enough for half a bicycle. You could stand in it if you balanced on one foot. Step 1. Get Willy Wonka to build me a house made out of chocolate. Step 2. House melts. Step 3. Get him to build another house in a cold place while I go eat the melted house. Step 4. Be poor, but fat. Pay an Oompa Loompa hit squad to take out Grandpa Joe, the damn benefit fraudster. That's not a dumb way to spend it. That's the best. No, it's a dumb way to spend it, cause everyone I know would do it for free. You know how as a kid you sat in the tub and paddled your hands in opposite directions to create a whirlpool with you in the middle? Pay 1 million people $5,000 each to stand in the Hudson, East and Harlem rivers around Manhattan and begin paddling to see what would happen. I always wanted to see if a stadium of people could blow out a candle in the middle of the field. I now have an idea for the next Atlanta United home game. Buy a $5 million painting, put it on auction. Participate in the auction and bid against yourself. People actually do this to drive up the price and also win. If you have a collection of 10 paintings, it drives up the price of all of them. What about 11 paintings? Then the price goes down. But 12? Oh, that's the sweet spot. Slurpees. Everybody's jetting fucking Slurpees. Brain freeze the planet. We getting blue tongues. We jetting red tongues. We fat juice. Yeah, just get 5 from the movie theater. Get it in pennies, and then pay off random people's collection debt by driving a dump truck full of pennies to each collection agency. This actually seems like a brilliant way to spend it if you have the time. You're being charitable and majorly wasting the collection agency's time. Make an alpaca farm. My neighbor owns alpacas. He shears them for wool and might milk them. Not entirely useless. A wild African wild ass farm it is. Buy $5 billion worth of fake money. You could get way more fake money, like $50 billion. Then you could destroy the economy by handing out the fakes and devaluing the currency of your choice. Hate chocolate? Bankrupt Belgium. Want a greener planet? Bankrupt the oil producing country of your choice. Empty a bay to look for seashells. Call in the media, tell them what you're doing, and then when people show up and the bay is drained, walk out onto the beach. Pick up the first shell you see before you even get into what used to be the bay and loudly proclaim, this one's perfect. Okay, go ahead and refill it. Then walk away. I like you. World's biggest gravel pit and 18 mercenaries to fight to death. Dibs on Scout. I would spend $4 billion on saving dogs from animal shelters, then $1 billion on sweets, so they would love me, and then I would have an army of loyal dogs to conquer the world with. P.S. I know this is not dumb, but it was the best I could think of. Buy $1 trillion in Zimbabwe. Checkmate atheists. I would use every penny to fund an enormous Uganda knuckle statue made of solid silver getting erected in Seattle and being a yards taller than the city's tallest structure. I would buy a house in Sydney, claw my way into politics, join the Liberal Party, and spend my days saying shit like, there's no proof of climate change or global warming. Trickle-down economics means that if I get rich, you will too, eventually. It's okay to say no to gay marriage. One Nation is the ideal party to form a coalition with. Fraser Anning is a top bloke. Here, have an onion. A huge ass bonfire. Accidentally setting the world record for the most expensive fire, and I'll probably end up with a hefty fine for destroying money. Buy 357,398,141 chickens. Build the world's largest ball pit, but put it in Kansas. So when the tornadoes hit, it's chaos. Somewhere, over the rainbow, blue balls will fly, red balls, yellow balls too. Send it to the Nigerian prince that is in need. How is this so low down? That or send it to one of those money doubling folks. Spend the 5 billion on something dumb and pocket the other 5 billion. Brilliant. Pay off the money those nice callers keep telling me I owe to the eyes. But he's the one giving us the money. Hey, it's me, prince. I'll launch thousands of tons of glitter into orbit to give Earth a Saturn-like ring. Not thousands of tons, but the USA did send up needle-like metal particles to space during the Cold War to hinder Soviet radio communications. The plan worked to some extent, but it was not satisfactory and the particles started to fall back to the Earth after some time. Being as small as they were, most of it did not burn after re-entry, and they still can be found in Antarctic ice. A cloud of these needle-like particles is still up there though. Edit. Some of you pointed out correctly that the aim of the project was not to hinder Soviet communication, but to enhance their own. I feel ashamed of my mistake and now retreat to enjoy my hangover. That's wild. I had never heard of it, so I looked it up. You got it mostly right, but it seems it wasn't to hinder Soviet communication, it was to aid our own. Pretty cool. In-app purchases. Spending money to get me some of that fake money to change the pixels on my video game character. Woohoo. And you will still not get some of the RNG loot items. I would buy 1,639,000,000 packs of 1500 ladybugs from Amazon. Then I would spend the remaining $1 million on releasing them over the Vatican City. Edit. Spelling. Get the printing presses. I think we are gonna need another testament. 5 million Apple monitor stands. Edit. My top comment of all time is no longer an office reference on an AskReddit about sex workers. Not sure how I feel about this change. Then set up a business to wrestle them all again at half price. Rinse and repeat until you have nothing left. I would start a protest and I would pay everyone 500 to 1000 to skip work and show up for the day, just see what would happen if the whole of the working class stopped working for a day. Make a nuke and drop it to wipe out almost 40% of the world's population. This should also be the dumbest way to keep population in control. r/unexpectedness. How do you plan on making a nuke big enough to wipe out that many people on your not limitless budget? The centrifuges you would need to spin out weapons grade fissile material along with the mining and refining techniques for obtaining this material are well outside your budget. Uranium is also not cheap, nor is plutonium production. I'd pay families to kill their dumbest child and live stream it. I'd buy an island and call it Rock Island. I'd pay for all the best bands and artists in the world to do multi-giant concerts all over the island, and it would be free for everyone with free beer and food. All ferries and planes to the venue would be free. All the ganja would be free too. Glamping and tents free also. All the best rock bands. All the best 80s bands. All the best rappers, R&B. All the best pop bands. All the best heavy metal bands. All the best DJs. That's the way to spend 5 fucking billion. Hey Jeff Bezos, give us 5 billion, yeah wanker. Buy a bunch of Minecraft accounts. Now you have 185,185,185 accounts. I calculated that. Then you can do whatever you want. You don't need to worry about getting banned because you have 185,185,184 accounts still. Rebuild the Twin Towers, but make it out of Nokia 3310s. Ain't no plane destroying those tower. On billboards, shaming every person who has wronged me in trivial ways. Cut me off in traffic. You're on a billboard. Give me side eye at the grocery store due to my unkempt clothing choices at 11 PM. You're on a billboard. Pay for every ad space in every city I can. Indefinite amount of time and print a different phone number on each one. Every phone number will have to be called in an effort to find who paid for the ad space and get them to remove it. Every single phone number will put you on hold for an hour and then rickroll you. I spend the $5 billion on a claw machine that picks up puppies, but the claw's soft, so when it picks up the puppies it doesn't hurt the puppies. In this game you win every time. It's not one of those cheap claw machines. So then you pick up the puppy and you drop it. It lands on a little pillow. That's what I'd spend it on.